DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Top Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537 and get a free demo.
And then on the third day, God waved his hands, and the next thing you know, it was Tuesday. And what did he make for Tuesday? He made the Tuesday night music show with Brian Redd. Brian, good evening.
Hi, John. How are you?
I am great. You have been a busy man here this evening, getting things together, and we made it.
Yeah, I just logged in 2 minutes ago. Been trying to get a video uploaded and do a couple dumb things before we went on.
Got to get all.
Didn't quite make it, but
that's okay. We are here and we are ready to talk about. And we didn't have a whole ton of time to talk too much about tonight's topic, but Howie brought this up earlier today, and I thought this was a fabulous topic. I had something else in mind, but it's this is something that it's not only going to be us talking about this, but this is something that we want the chat room to be involved with a lot tonight as we share ideas and we talk about different songs for difficult father-daughter dances, because we've had this and in a specific situation, and Howie, I'm going to try to remember exactly what I believe it was a stepfather situation in the one he was talking about, and she really wasn't that close, I don't believe, to the stepfather, but she still wanted to do something. But Brian, as we're doing weddings, I mean, I'm sure you've run across times where you've had a weird relationship, whether it's a blood relationship or not. And they're like, can we do something?
Right. I did a wedding, I want to say about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I had to travel way up north to do this. No, I did 2 gigs in a day.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It all worked out.
Sure.
It was something that I don't advocate that you do, but it just worked out that way with the agency. Hey, this is great. We got you an afternoon gig up here too. Gee, thanks. Anyway, to make a long story short, this was definitely the situation where a lot of things happened. First of all, the bride's father, for some reason, never showed up. And that was uncomfortable because they had planned to do a father-daughter dance and a mother-son. Now, the groom did something that I've never seen anyone do. It was the classiest thing I ever saw a groom do at a wedding. And let me try to remember exactly how he did it, because his parents were divorced and remarried. Her mother was there, but her father wasn't there.
Okay.
So they started off with a mother-son dance. And then he invited his stepfather out and had his stepfather dance with his mother. Then he had his real father come out and dance with his wife. And then he invited his mother-in-law to come out and dance with him. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And he just did this. He didn't tell me he was going to do it. He just did it. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. And the thought this guy had to put into this last minute to pull this off, as far as who to get with who and not upset anybody and all this stuff, was brilliant. he did a great job.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I thought that was really cool. It was a weird situation with his family anyway, and then her dad not showing up made it even worse. But I just thought that was class. I thought that was so cool that he did that.
And especially, there's situations like that where I think it works better to be seemingly initiated from him than you.
Yes, it was him who did. Yeah, I didn't say, "Hey, I got a great idea." He came up with this, which made it class. Just style, man. This was beautiful.
And even if it would have been your idea in the planning stage, I think the success of it was that he was the one that, from the guest perspective, is that he was doing it. You weren't on a microphone. Okay, now we're going to have Rob. Yeah,
nothing like that. He would just point and go, "Come here." And he did end up getting his father's wife involved somehow too. I mean, he had everyone involved. And he didn't make his wife feel like that she was left out. And he didn't make anyone feel like they were left out.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, they all did a group hug. It was beautiful. It was so cool.
Yeah. Again, for those of you watching, the real magic of that was the groom was the one really leading that. Even if
we could come up with stuff, but when they do it, it's cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
And if they can't come up with it, as I guess the master of ceremonies, the person in charge leading the whole thing, you need to make it look like they came up with it.
Exactly. Yes, for sure. Because if we're yes, there's times where we can be running the event and behind the microphone, but there's times where the magic of the moment has to come from them.
It's like dancing, like ballroom dancing or salsa dancing, partner dancing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are not dancers don't know this, but I learned this when I met Blanca. And my experience with salsa merengue stuff. My job as a lead dancer, and that's what the men typically are, the lead dancers.
Sure.
Is to make her look good. It's not about my skills as a dancer. I need to showcase her. The better I can make her look, the better I am. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything. No, it's true. That's dancing. And that's kind of what I feel like that we need to do with our clients when it comes to this kind of stuff. When it gets weird, it's not about us, it's about them. We need to showcase them somehow and make them look as good as we can.
For sure.
How's that for off the hat?
No, that's good. That's really the magic of a lot of the weddings we do, and what we do at them is we're here to make that bride look absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
And we never want to have, if you guys looked at the thumbnail for tonight's video, you never want your bride to have that look on her face at any time during the day if you can avoid that situation.
Right.
That's what we're here to do. Okay, so
we try.
Howie gave a couple more details on it. It was her actual real dad, the man that raised her, had passed away and such. But let's kind of look at, and if you're in a chat room and you've had situations like this where you've had the multiple divorces and things going back and forth, and there were step parents and such involved. Definitely share some of the things you have done with that, with songs and things. I was out looking to kind of get prepared tonight, and there's actually a website called StepDadding, StepDadding.com, and on there it had a list of some songs that they were suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in most cases, they were suggesting songs. There's some that are really kind of a touching that you would use with a really loving relationship, and some that are more of a superficial relationship.
Right.
But the thing that surprised me was that there's a stepdadding website out there that is got a page dedicated to just this situation.
It's hard. I mean, I am not married, but it doesn't matter. I've been with Blanca for 13 years. She's got 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have pretty good relationships with 2 of them. And that's another show.
Sure.
The one who's upstairs right now, who just stopped by, I've kind of had her since she was 19, which sounds like, well, she was an adult already, but I was the one who kind of kicked her ass a little bit and made her do some stuff. And she's very successful, and she's a happy person, and she's in a healthy relationship, and she's a homeowner, and I'm not taking responsibility for that. I'm just saying that I did what I could do to put her on that path, and she recognizes that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's broken it down like this. She's like, "You're my dad. and the guy who,
Yep.
is my genetic, that's my father, and there's a difference. So, I mean, some relationships are great, some aren't so great.
Yeah.
Regardless, I mean, if I were to think about some of the tricks I have in my tool bag for a lot of situations where you have, maybe you don't want to showcase an entire dance for an entire song. I've had people do things like this. I want to have a dance with my stepdad, but I don't want to offend my father.
Yes.
This I've had a lot.
Very much so.
So what we do is we pick a song that if there is one, because in the old days, I mean, there wasn't. I don't know if you remember this, John. In the old days, it was who was that cat? Was it oh boy, I don't know. It's not Al Martinez. It's Al Martin.
Oh,
Daddy's Little Girl.
Yep. And your daddy's
that was the stock song you just played.
Yes.
Do you want a father-daughter dance? Yes. Okay, you get this song
This
by
is it. Yep.
Al Martin, or whatever his name. I think it was Al Martin. But at any rate, now they're picking the songs. And when Bob Carlyle's Butterfly Kisses was making a comeback and all that stuff. But anyway, sometimes there was just a song that meant something, whatever it was. Maybe not. But I wouldn't even announce it. I wouldn't say, hey, this is a dance for Sally and her stepdad or whatever. She knew and he knew that when that song was played, that was for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went out and did their thing. That I've done, where we didn't even talk about who it was for. I've done it with uncles too, or people who just have meaning to somebody. They want to have a dance with them, but they don't necessarily want to alienate anyone else.
For sure.
You don't announce it. You just do it, which I think is kind of cool. And the other thing that I've done, if they do want it announced, but they don't particularly feel comfortable with being under the spotlight for 3.5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
is I'll invite them on the floor. I'll play the song. And before they even hit the first verse on the microphone, I will say these words, and I use this a lot. And it's scripted, but it doesn't sound scripted. I say, Sarah and John would now like to invite everyone to come join them on the dance floor. Sarah and John would like to invite everyone to come out and join them on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
The now part. Just exactly like that. Not ladies and gentlemen at this time. None of that shit.
Yep.
Simply, Bob and Sally would like to invite everyone to come and join them on the dance floor. Boom. They're no longer showcased.
Yes.
It's kind of cool. So I don't know. Those are just a couple of things that I just do anyway when things come up that may be relevant to this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think they definitely are, because that spotlight sometimes is in a 3 to 4 minute song gets really, really hot, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Yeah. Just right before it kicks in. Like I acknowledge that this is for them, but let's forget about that.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like the Jedi mind trick. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, precisely. That actually, about 4 years ago, I started doing that, and it happened for a period of time, probably a year and a half's worth of weddings, where we would start the father-daughter dance, and if it wasn't the really warm relationship, if they didn't have that the butterfly kiss experience, they would like, can we do something? Maybe cut the song short. And it's like, well, how about if we invite the other fathers and daughters into the, because there's going to be cousins.
Right.
Same concept. And
you can sit down.
That was great.
Does dad have a bad knee, anxiety, whatever? Fine. Let's get him up there, give him a verse, and then we'll get him off the hook. We don't have to cut the song short and make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
We'll make it look like he couldn't hang, because no one's going to notice anymore if he leaves.
Let's see. Damon Lee mentioned up here a little ways, and this is not really with the father-daughter dance, but mentioned when parents pass away, which kind of fit into Howie's situation a little bit, offers the parents to do a candle, like a candle lighting ceremony, and incorporate that. That would be kind of a cool idea, to figure out a way to incorporate that for that moment without bringing that room down too far. That would be my biggest concern.
That's the problem with this memorial stuff. I made a funny Facebook post about this about a week ago, where I have these conversations with people all the time, and even requests from clients or their parents or whatever. Oh, my mom wants to talk to you. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, Uncle Bob's favorite song was I don't know, something ridiculous. What was the last one? Running Bear. That was the one.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Running Bear was his favorite song. Could you play it? Well, what do you mean it was his favorite song? Well, he's been dead for several years. Do you like the song? No, I don't like it. But that was Uncle Bob's favorite song. Do you think anybody else likes it? Well, probably not, but it's for Uncle Bob. It's like, okay, and Uncle Bob's dead, so he's not here, right? I don't understand that. I don't get it. Let's celebrate this couple that's here. Let's talk about them. Let's make it about them. Let's not make it a memorial for any dead people.
Yeah.
Unless they died on the way there. Okay, let's do that. But if they've been dead for a minute and you've already had a funeral for them, I mean, why don't you just take that and enjoy that? Why do you keep bringing it up? And I'm not being insensitive because my Uncle Dave just died, and I love my Uncle Dave. We were very close. We traveled together. We were like brothers. And I had Uncle Dave's funeral. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Right.
I've done it. I don't understand the memorial thing. That's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes up, I guess in my mind, just to keep the vibe up, kind of like you were suggesting, I do everything I can to steer them away or talk them out of doing it because it's such a downer.
Oh, for sure. And there have been times where they've been animate that this was important to them because of maybe they died a month ago or 2 months ago. Grandma wanted to see me in my wedding gown, and it was such an important thing to her, and she couldn't make it. Great. Let's take that tribute and let's put a tribute together, but let's do it during the early part of the meal or somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Getting it away from the party time so we can and my way of explaining it to that bride was let's make sure grandma's moment can breathe, and that the crowd can grasp that moment and really get into it, compared to later into the dance where a lot of the people won't see the significance of your love for grandma. And that sold it right there. It happened way early in the meal.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Got Your Money by Old Dirty Bastard. And next we're going to do a tribute to grandma.
It doesn't work.
What?
Especially when, grandma's favorite song was, Got Your Money from Old Dirty Bastard. And then we messed up.
It's even better, yeah.
Crazy.
Better.
So let's,
the one that I struggle with sometimes is the mother-son dance.
Yep.
That one's weird sometimes.
Very much so, because the one that we used had seemed that forever we were getting through the years. And I believe there are 2 lines in there that make it creepy. At least one.
Does anyone pay attention? I mean, speaking of father-daughter dances, we've talked about this before. Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison is about kind of like about a pedophile and knocking up an underage girl. So if that's acceptable, then a couple of lines in through the years is probably okay.
I always feel kind of weird though, and you're playing, they've requested the song, and it's like, okay, great, that'll work, and then you're playing it along, and then it's like gets to that point, and it's like, ooh, that's just kind of icky. I feel like I need to wash.
I've told this story on the show before. I'll tell it again because this is the parent and kid dance special, if you will. Jay Brennan told me a story. It's a great story, and he said that one time he was planning a wedding, and the mother of the groom said, "This is the song that we need for the mother-son dance," and it's Everybody's Talking by Harry Chapman. And if you know anything about that song, it is the theme song, the main title theme song to the movie Midnight Cowboy. If you don't know what Midnight Cowboy is, this was the one and only rated X movie ever from the Motion Picture Association of America. It's a very dark film about drug addicts. Have you ever seen Midnight Cowboy?
No, I have not.
Very dark. Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, Angelina Jolie's dad. So creepy movie. Very, very, very. Like, why is this appropriate? Why? And she said, "Well, let me tell you. I was feeling kind of depressed one day, and I was by myself, so I decided to go to the movies, and was playing was Midnight Cowboy. So I went and I saw Midnight Cowboy, and that night I got sick, and I went to the doctor the next day and found out I was pregnant with this kid who is getting married. So the song had meaning.
Sure.
Deep meaning, like really deep. But the lyrics or the association seemed incredibly inappropriate. But there was a more personal association to this song than the lyrics or what it was from or whatever. It meant something. And I take that, and when I talk to my clients, I tell them, look, don't worry about lyrics. Don't worry about any of this. What song, if there's a song that reminds you of dad or mom, is there a song that reminds you of your kids? What is this song? What's the story behind it? I mean, I've never been married, never had to do this. If I had to pick one, for my mom, oh geez, there could be tons of stuff that I could pick, because my mom and I are pretty good pals even still. Songs that, I would think really hard about it. I know she loves the Bee Gees. So I'd probably do like How Deep Is Your Love, which is inappropriate for mother-son, but mom was a Bee Gees fan, and that's
right.
a ballad. And she would probably like it. So it meant something, I don't know. That's just how I look at it.
For sure.
It doesn't particularly have to have content that's looked at as appropriate if it's meaningful to the client on some level.
Okay, so we got a few minutes. Let's.
No.
Yeah, our time is. We're moving along here pretty quickly. A couple of songs that, and can go right to this list because there was a few of them on here that I was going to point out. The Stevie Wonder, "Isn't She Lovely," is actually one that I have used on occasion, and it's a little bit more upbeat. It isn't a slow song by any means, but with a little bit of, and I say a little bit of coaching with this, you need to talk to the dad and the bride a little bit and let them know that this is an upbeat song, and here's the best way to dance with this is to you guys hold it like this, and then you guys can do what you need to do. That
I've
was
seen
one.
ballroom dancing for, ballroom dancing style for father-daughter dances and mother-son.
Oh, for sure. That was huge a few years back.
Or even if it's not purely but fast dancing anyway.
That was the part that surprised me with this list is there's a few songs on here that were more upbeat that I wouldn't have expected. The Isn't She Lovely was one that I have used before because we were looking. She didn't want a slow song. She really wanted the focus to stay on her because they didn't have that relationship. But a classic, My Girl from the Temptations, although I don't think that would fit Howie's situation, is decent.
What about You're My Best Friend by Queen?
That would be an interesting.
It's like my friend,
Yeah, a friend.
I really love you. You're my best friend. I don't know. I mean, maybe
the right situation. I think that would be definitely an option.
But then my other question is, if they're not close, why the hell are they doing this?
That was my thought, and I know she wanted to do that, but. Yeah, sometimes
I'd say, well, you're not close, then why are you doing this? I would skip it. Yeah. I would just not do it.
Because if the two of them aren't comfortable on the dance floor doing this dance together because of relationship issues, it's going to show. The room is going to know that there's uncomfortableness going on that dance floor, and that could bring that crowd right down so quickly.
Right, and this is the same thing that comes to mind when I have people come to me and say, "Yeah, we want to include our parents in the grand entrance." Okay, tell me about your folks. Both sides are divorced, both sides are remarried, everyone hates everybody else. Maybe you shouldn't do this.
Yep.
Well, really? Yeah, maybe this is a bad idea. Oh, okay.
So maybe what we should do instead is this, and then there's any number of other things.
But as far as song suggestions, I mean, there's so many.
Oh, so many.
Kind of cool.
Probably my favorite fallback one is The Way You Look Tonight from Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it doesn't say much of anything, but yet it's a nice song and everybody knows it.
The one you don't hear hardly at all anymore that I think is really nice, And I lyrically, I'm buzzing through this in my head really fast. I'm just thinking of the chorus. Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel.
Yes.
Is a nice one that you don't hear so much anymore. You used to hear it a lot, but you don't hear it so much anymore.
That was one of the songs when one of my first radios that I bought as a youngster. I remember specifically that song being played on that radio.
Somebody said we lost audio. Can anybody hear us okay?
I think we're still broadcasting.
Mm-hmm. So they just said we lost audio. I don't know.
Stream is looking good.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think so. I'm guessing so because Howie just mentioned made a comment on the Sinatra. Todd,
right.
Todd, we'd love to be able to say refresh the screen, but you can't. How do you? What's the sign language for refresh?
Oh, well.
So anyway, there's a lot of good song ideas. Click that link. I put it up in the description. And for those of you who are watching this after the fact, I will put that in the description of the video. I put it up in the chat. I'm going to put that down in the description below so you guys can see that. Because that page had some good ideas on there and a variety of things. And I think it gets back to, as Brian was mentioning, it's so situational. Because for the right person that didn't have the right relationship, but that Queen song could be a magical moment.
Right.
You just don't know. There might be a father-daughter, that brown-eyed girl.
Alternately, it could be a situation where it was like, yeah, well, I know he likes this, and whenever we've had the gatherings or whatever, we played the song, so it kind of reminds me of him, or maybe something that she plays a lot reminds him of her. You never know, man. I mean, there could be things that just seem completely inappropriate, but when you get the full story, it's like, aha, okay, I get this now.
You just brought me back to one of the early weddings I did. There's a tear in my beer for the father-daughter dance. And the reason for it is because when she was just a little thing, he would get her up and he would set her on their table, and the two of them would sing along to that just as horribly as they could. And
Perfect.
It really ticked off Mom. And Mom hated it that they did that because they were so bad, and they were intentionally bad.
Yeah.
What a story. And the crowd just absolutely loved it because they danced a little bit and the crowd chuckled. And the way they finished it, of course, is the two of them sang along to it. And yeah.
That's cool.
The significant song is probably the more important thing if they have any kind of a moment that they've shared with the song.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
No, that's a great analogy. That's a great example there.
Yeah, for sure. Gang, we're going to put the link for the next show in the comments area. It's also down below if you're watching us on Facebook. Show 2 will be back here in just a couple of minutes with our second show tonight. We'll catch you in a bit.